guys, I mean, here's a conversation 30 years in the making, you know.
You know? Yeah.
I haven't talked to you two gentlemen at the same time since 1988.
Yeah. Wow,
up.
imagine that.
Straight up.
88, man.
88.
What a concept.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something.
Believe me, man, seeing you at that damn State Farm Arena was like, wow. It was flashback, carjack.
It was such a trip. And you know what is what's so weird about it, CC? It was like there was so much of it that was like, I just saw you 5 minutes ago. You know?
Right.
There was so much of it's like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in 30 years, but yet there's this tremendous, like, this feels right. Take me back to where we first met you at.
Oh my God.
It was me the first time.
It was Norfolk, Virginia. Well, Ocean View, Virginia.
Yeah.
That was
cooking stolen steaks.
Stolen steaks, yeah. And that's where it was like all the bands seemed like at one time were staying at the same hotel.
Yeah.
The Sea King Hotel.
Yeah, that was
on the Strip in Norfolk.
Yes, sir. Right down the street from Skipper's.
Yeah.
That's the one. That was the picture window I broke with Talon, right?
Yeah, later. That was later. Much later. Oh yeah, those were good times back then.
I have threw a guitar right through a big damn thing.
Yeah. The good days, man.
Oh my God.
When, when everybody was nervous, not just the sheep and the women. Everybody was nervous. You never knew what the fuck was gonna happen next.
I do remember the first time I laid eyes on you, you were like, hey dude, you hungry?
No, wasn't we? Weren't we all hungry?
And I don't know.
We were hungry.
You told us that we were like the best band that had rolled through there in about 6 months.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you started talking to Ron. You and Ron kind of bonded immediately.
Yeah, Mr. Winterall.
Yep. And then like it was like 2 hours later, hey, you want to go on the road with us?
Yeah.
And then we traded in the U-Haul.
Yeah.
Remember Beasley, his dad's rented the trailer, the U-Haul trailer. We traded that in.
That is not what happened. What happened is that we had a buddy that worked at a rider place where we didn't have to leave a deposit for the trucks. So he got, somebody got a new management or whatever. So we lost that deal, and we only had enough money to rent the truck and go, so we were in a tough spot. So we went to the local U-Haul and we rented 2 trucks. One truck that we put all the people inside of it with all of the furniture from Ron's apartment that we stuffed in there. And then we had another truck that had all the gear. And our plan was to go to Virginia, do this gig, make $2,000, find a bus and buy it during the week that we're there. That's what our plan was, right? So we took these 2 trucks that we rented local one day, and basically we truck stole like you did back in the 80s, and we took them to Virginia, and we loaded it into the club, all the gear. Then we went to our shitty hotel, and we loaded all of Ron's furniture onto the side of the hotel onto the beach, and we took those 2 trucks and we left them in a parking lot with the keys above the visor. And that's how that went down.
Plus whatever we made that week to buy that bus.
Well, we took CC with us.
Yes.
From Norfolk, Virginia, in the bus that we had just bought.
Yes. It's bitching.
What was it? A 1972 school bus, wasn't it?
International. Wasn't it international or some shit?
It was a school. It was like Putnam County.
It was a Bluebird body on an international frame.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Like that.
And then we started painting it. Remember, we started painting it.
No, wait. Time out, Tiger. Take it down. Take it down. We got CC on the bus with us. Okay. We roll out of there, and we're on our way to Florida. right?
That's right.
Yeah,
and we're on the road, and the bus that we had just bought, the bus that it fucking broke down. The motor blew. So we do this gig in Virginia Beach all week long. We're supposed to get $2,000, and at the end of the run, the guy gives us $1,200, which was a long ways away from $2,000. Now we had found a school bus for sale in Nags Head, North Carolina, for I think $950, and that was like an hour away from the gig, right? So we do the last show, and we got no place to put the gear, so we literally load out into the parking lot. Now all the gear is in the parking lot. Meanwhile, we're kicked out of the hotel rooms, right? So we have got all of Ron's furniture, and that's all on the beach. What's left of it is on the beach, and in the parking lot there, we're split up in two camps. Me and Rob hitchhike to Nags Head, North Carolina, with all the money and a guitar case full of tools, right? That's our plan. Miraculously, we get through a couple of rides and we get to the place. We go up this place. It's old school North Carolina. Like there's chickens running around the yard and shit. And there was this school bus, right? They were using the school bus for the local church choir to move them around from around the county or wherever they were doing their church choir stuff, right? He asked me what we were going to do with the bus. And I said, well, we go from town to town, spending a lot of time with single mothers and women with drug and alcohol problems. And he said, well, sounds like you boys are doing the Lord's work. And he took $50 off the price for us. We had hijacked some, I want to say they were like 1972 veteran handicap plates. I mean, so we just stole some license plates off some vehicle somewhere, and that was our plan, and that's exactly what we did. We got a little ways down the road from that guy's house, and I don't know why we did it or what we did it, but we just pulled over, unbolted the majority of the seats, and just pushed them out on the side of the road. Left them all there, kept the motor running, never shut it off, went, and I can't emphasize enough how much nobody in the band had any faith at all that Rob and I would pull this off, right? That we would actually hitchhike to Nags Head, North Carolina, buy a school bus and come back with it. There was zero faith in the plan, but nobody else had a plan. So it's one of those things I always hated when you don't like my plan, but you don't have one. So shockingly, we pulled up in that school bus, man. Squeak, opened the door. You know, opened the back, got all the gear in. Then we went back to the motel. We got a bunch of Ron's furniture, right? We had 2 couches. Somebody had sex with a stripper in the on the beach with the one of the couches, and we lost the cushion. So that was kind of a low couch, and we had the other couches. So then we were ready to go, and we headed out of town, man. And that was it. We were rolling.
The transmission blew. It had sawdust in it. Remember?
I don't remember that, but I remember this. I remember I was sick.
Yeah.
We were on the side of the road, and CC had just come with us.
And me and CC, right before we left, Bart. Remember Bart?
Oh, fuck.
Rodin and Bart.
Yeah.
He gave us a couple little bumps. We thought it was blood, but I think it was crank, like the old biker.
It was something.
It was something.
It was ridiculous.
And we didn't eat that day, so we were like, you know, shit. You could hear our buzz. It was like, I mean, it was just. And I remember, it was like in the middle of the summer, and I remember we were
hot,
so thirsty.
We were on the side of the road, broke down for 3 days with no food and no water. Summertime. I had a fever, and man, I was sick. The only thing that we had is that we were crushing up Vibrins and snorting that, and the only thing we had to eat was Taster's Choice freeze-dried. We used to eat instant coffee when we couldn't afford cocaine, and bad coffee wouldn't keep us up driving down the road. So we would literally just eat and crunch on instant coffee. It was horrible. And eating it with no water made it even worse.
and you guys sent me out.
No
was
bathroom.
Who thumbed
No.
up?
We were on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And the first person to go hitchhike, to go get help, was Beasley.
Yes.
He went out there and he disappeared, and we never saw him again. Never heard from him. Right. And the second person to go was Brian Lusher. Was Bone.
Yep, Mr. Bone.
He stuck his thumb out, and he disappeared, and we never saw him again.
Oh my God, you're right.
Right. And then the third person to go was John, and you went.
Yeah.
I got picked up by the homo. Hey man, before that though,
surprise.
Yes,
surprise.
But what's funny is we were remember we were so close on the shoulder. This is the old turnpike now. This is when it was just 4 lanes. I think it was 4 lanes. And the shoulder wasn't too big. We were like really close.
We were hanging on a ditch.
Yeah.
Right
and every time a semi would come by, it'd shake the butt.
Shake that bit.
I think it was day 2 on the side of the road. Somehow or another, I get into the driver's seat of the bus, and everyone's just kind of laying on the couches, and guys are out hitchhiking to find help, but we don't know what's going on. We got no water, got no provisions. We're all like literally losing our minds there, and me the most. And I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and every time a car would come up, I would pretend I'm steering into it. And all the guys on the couches would go, and fall on the floor. Feeding into my psychosis that I'm imaginary killing everybody. And this went on for some time.
Remember how Pete would get in the driver's seat?
Yeah.
There's a lot of death in this one.
Oh my God!
We're gonna die on this.
And then
remember they came by. We're throwing ourselves up in the air, and then the door is open. The door is open, and then all of a sudden he turns around. He's doing this shit. He turns around, and the cop's standing there.
And
he takes off his sunglasses and goes, "How long you guys been here?"
Oh shit!
He could have been watching us for an hour, dude.
Oh God, yeah, we were pretty much over it by that point.
Remember what the cop said to Ron? He goes, "If that guy thinks he's a driver, there's something wrong with him, and if you let him drive, there's something wrong with you."
Right. Something wrong with him.
Right? Oh my God, that was just
Oh, and we were.
And then you
remember the tow truck dude saying that. You guys ain't allowed to ride in the back of this bus.
Slow down.
But
like, well, what the fuck?
You know what saved our ass? You know what saved our ass? You know what saved our ass that day?
Yeah.
We were all the bus. It was like dusk. It's starting to get dusk, And remember how thirsty we were? And then we were so fucking thirsty. And it's before all that shit. This is 87, right? 88?
Yeah, 87.
And all of a sudden we see that truck pull up on that embankment with the keg in it.
Up the hill.
Yeah, and Dixie goes, this nigga loves a party. So I walk up there with him, and we head right to that keg, I'm just focusing on that beer. I'm just focusing on that beer. I'm just focusing on it. But CC was kind of aware of his surroundings. I wasn't. So I'm doing this, and he keeps hitting me. He keeps going like this. Dude, I'll never forget his face. He's doing this. He goes, "I think we had the wrong barbecue."
Yeah, dude, this is white supremacist shit right here.
He goes, "What in the wild, wild world of sports is going on here?"
Yeah.
It wasn't just John and Cece that went up to that party at the top of the hill. It was everybody on the bus but me, because I was too sick to stand up and get off the bus, right? So here's what happens. The entire bus empties out and goes to this party that's happening, and some rednecks are up there. And somebody brings me a beer, and it was the first liquid that had touched my lips in days, man. And I just remember it was so pungent, but I was so glad to have it. So glad to have it.
I was just surrounded. I was
and
like,
then all of a
shit.
sudden I go, hey man, I turn around, I'm looking, and there's these redneck guys, and we see white power. It's just a white party, you know, and I go, oh man, this is cool. I'll talk. He goes, you came with Darky, man. Welcome to Niggerville.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Man,
You know?
I remember this. I remember the cops showing up there.
Yeah,
right
and that's when they started
after
shooting at us. But
Yeah.
remember CC when he had that 30-06, it wasn't a shotgun, because I said that's a pretty funny shotgun. And it was a 30-06 he had. And remember, you kept cracking jokes. You were going, I guess the only marshmallow they're going to roast at this Hitler holdout is you, Taz.
You're an idiot. It's like, why don't you shut up before you get us killed?
Why don't you shut up before you get us killed? If we had a nickel every time we said that to him.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Exactly.
At some point, a bunch of shooting, some gunfire starts happening at the top of the hill, right? And at that moment, I was on the bus by myself, and I felt the whole bus just being jolted, and the bus was being hooked up to a tow truck. Somebody from West Virginia, our first guy that hitchhiked away 3 days ago, had got a hold of a club owner that needed us to play his club, and the only way to get us there was to tow the bus 300 miles. Right? So this guy is hooking up the bus. I'm like, what's going on? I'm just so out of it, right? And when the gunfire starts, the tow truck driver's saying, "Man, we gotta go." You know, so I get into the cab of the tow truck. We just start peeling away. In the mirror, I can see people running after the bus and jumping on, and running after the bus and jumping on. Before you know it, we pulled away. We're into the night, and you know, and then it got weird.
I remember being in the cab with that crazy ass driver of that tow truck. And I remember looking in the back, or like watching people jump on as we were going. Like, I had no idea who was on, who was not, who made it, who didn't. You know, and this guy is telling me about, you know, burning children with napalm in Vietnam, and he's having all these flashbacks as we're doing 80 miles an hour through the fog.
I'm glad I was in the bus.
Swinging behind me in the back.
But you know what's funny? Babe, when we came back, remember how sick you were, Pete?
Oh, yes, I did.
Because I remember, and then I got sick, but you guys threw a cocaine party when I got sick.
That sounds true.
Remember, I came out and the twins were there. Everybody was there. And that night, even Tish Finley was there. Remember Tish? Tish Cyrus.
Vaguely.
Miley's mom.
Yep.
Yeah, she was there, and she visited me a few times at the Maleki Ranch.
At the ranch.
At the ranch.
At the ranch.
You know, somebody in John's family owned this 700-acre tree farm that had this big giant house on it. And for a summer, we had our hands on it. I don't know who made the decision to allow us to live there, but it was a tremendous amount of shenanigans that went on there. And we had four-wheelers there too, that we abused the privilege. But you know, just a lot of craziness went on out there at what we were called the Maleki Ranch.
Yeah, well, back at the ranch.
Yeah, John.
I just remember the alley. that's my whole fucking
When me and Cece and Ron and Rob,
yeah,
the four of us lived in the bus, broke down on the side of the nightclub.
Yeah,
where was I at? Was I with Brian?
Oh,
you were wherever
you were out with some vagina, living in luxury, being spoon-fed and bought new tennis shoes with a full fucking belly, while the four of us were living in the broke-down submarine on the side of the fucking building. You know,
flies with Aquanet in the morning.
Remember what was that town? Remember? Okay, I do remember that one night. Oh my God, we played this bar, and this guy had sheets of acid, and everybody waited to drop at the last night.
That was Middleton.
That was Middleton. Okay. Remember that girl that came in with the new tit jobs? Because you're the first guy I want to fuck with my new tit job.
I don't remember that.
You remember that chick?
I wouldn't.
So I leave with her, and then 4 hours later, I come back, and everybody's like laughing and having a dandy old time. And then that little kid, remember that little kid, that little 6-year-old kid that we met at that hotel that night?
I do not.
Remember that little kid that come up to us? He's like 8, 9 years old, and he had this wild haircut, and he'd say, "I hate when chicks stop mid blowjob." Damn.
I do not remember that at all.
I would freak out. But this is why it's important. This is why I brought him up, because right when I got there, the kid was there, like walking up with me. I'm like, "Hey, what's up, kid?" Blah, 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 blah. I remember, and then all of a sudden I open the door, and then he kind of pokes in and steps in. And I'm looking at him, then all of a sudden you jump on the bed.
Me?
Said, yes, you.
Okay,
you said,
I believe that.
You said, I believe that. Little boy, you can't be in here today.
Oh my God. Now that
we're gonna be talking about all kinds of adult things, like appendages and penetration, and you need to leave.
That had to be before that guy killed himself.
Yeah, it was. That was, yes, because then, okay, again, I went with the girl, and then all of a sudden I thought about 4 hours later, I was like, I slept a little bit, and we had, okay, and then I went, I remember my trunk being unlocked, and I'm a little weirded out. There's a lot of people tripping, so let's go back, because she didn't live far from there. So I went back, and it was like 4 hours later, and then it was, the whole mood was different. Like
yeah, you think?
like Brian and Ron were like in the bathroom, locked in the bathroom with their hands together, going, "Oh my God."
Yeah. Yeah, it was rough.
And I was freaking out. I was like, "Oh my God, what's going on?"
Right.
That was crazy. Then the cops were coming around, and then you closed the door. I remember you closing the door, and I'm with that chick with the breast, and she's like, "What's going on?" I said, "I don't know, but let's try to go back to your place." So you go, "Nobody's leaving right now. Nobody's leaving." I'm like, "Pete, you're going crazy." Then all of a sudden, the guy that was there, he goes,
John's talking about that guy. Well, that's the acid guy. That's the guy that gave us all the acid. And the thing about him that was so trippy is that he had a bullet in his leg that he couldn't get out. One of our guys caught him in the bathroom trying to remove the bullet, and with a pair of scissors that we used to cut up our clothes with, And Bone was freaking out because of the acid, picked up the knife, tried to stab the guy. Everything got super weird. I mean, it went from weird to weirder. And I was trying to chill everybody out, and acid guy kept running up to people and screaming in their face. When you're tripping on acid, that's not what you need. Growing up, I had a lot of LSD. The thing is that the kind of LSD that I was taking back in the 70s, was made by a chemist in a laboratory. This shitty blotter was for sure made in some trailer park in southern Ohio. It had a hard edge on it. And, you call it taking a trip because you're going somewhere. And we certainly went somewhere that night. Took a left, took a right, and it went down Ugly Avenue really fast.
I got to get out of here, blah, 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 blah. And then we open the door. He disappears. And then I go to Ron and who, I think it was you and Rob. We all kind of agreed, let's go across the street and get something to drink and freshen up and walk around. So we went out there, because I remember this because I didn't drop. I was the only one that did not drop, and that's why I remember all this really.
You were the only one.
The only one that didn't, because I did. Do you imagine me tripping?
No.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, because I've done it a few times. I did some
me and
crazy
CC solid. No.
It was too close to the highway for me to be tripping. I was at the farm the first time I tripped.
Yeah, more than that.
But anyway, so then all of a sudden we're crossing the street. And then the guy, remember, he turns around and says, "You want to see something?" I said, "Oh, he's crazy. This guy's nuts, blah, blah." And we had no idea that he was right behind us. Remember that?
Yeah, I watched him do it.
Freaking behind us. He goes, "You want to see something crazy?"
I mean, just like John says it, we're standing there on the side of the road. An acid guy says, "You want to see something wild?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to see something wild." And he stepped out onto traffic on that highway and was hit by a car, went over that car and ended up through the windshield of the car behind that. I mean, for a bunch of guys standing on the side of the road, on acid, we were blown away. Like, what did we just witness? You know, this was so horrific that this guy just wiped out, and another car hit a telephone pole. I mean, it was just so surreal. I mean, it's I could only laugh. It was just so traumatizing. So traumatizing. And what do you think we did? We ran. We ran back to the hotel.
He runs right on the street.
Yeah.
He gets clobbered.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Brian was never the same. Brian was never.
I believe that he was never
Brian,
the same.
he wasn't, man. He for the whole ride back, he was like this. Just and remember, you closed the door. We ran right back to you closed the door and you're peeking about every 30 seconds. I cannot believe the cops did not even bother us.
I cannot believe the cops didn't. Well, let it be said that in my lifetime, I was a victim of violent crimes twice in Ohio, and they refused to go after the people that did it. So the cops in Ohio usually don't like to get involved. as long as they can collect the body and put it in the van, I think we're done here.
Man, I remember when CC we were leaving. I said, "Was that the place? Is that the place where he got creamed?" We're pulling out, and CC goes, "Yeah, there's that damn greasy spot."
The oily spot.
CC, we had some good time living next to that meth shack on the side of that nightclub, man.
Shit, dude, remember, dude had a damn cash register.
Yeah,
in the field with the couch and the coffee table.
That was
it was a couch and a cash register and a guy sitting in a lounge chair in the middle of some field selling meth out in the open. That's exactly how CC says it.
Ted Lambert.
Right.
The Ballad of Ted Lambert.
When you look out the bus and there's dude's living room.
Yeah, his name was Ted Lambert, and
he was selling joints.
And
Genghis, he was like selling joints out of there.
But he had, remember Genghis? He didn't have cigarettes. Remember how he'd stand up and he'd throw cigarettes at him like a dog throwing treats, and he
was looking in his living room, dude.
He talked like this. He go.
Let me tell you something, man. Even on hillbilly level, it was another level of hillbillyism.
It was, man.
Like CC said, I thought the fucking couch and the cash register sitting in the field in the weeds.
And this is what's funny, and this is what's even hilarious.
Just stop.
Is I remember
stop, walk over there, put their money up, ching, give them a joint. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
and you know what's even more hilarious?
Looked like a string.
What was more hilarious? I remember CC one night standing up there. We're looking at Ted Lambert, and when I was just down there, like sitting down there, and I swear to Christ, I remember this. He goes, "How you like my place? Like how you like my place?" It's great. It's fine. So then I go up there, and all of a sudden I see CC going. I'm like, "What's up? What's up?" C. He goes, "In 30 years, that could be me."
Cause fuck, dude, I'm halfway there. I'm on a bus in the same alley.
Oh my God!
You called it. I mean, at least this guy got a couch and a cash register.
Right?
He was above our socio class at that point.
Exactly. We didn't have shit. We didn't have a bathroom.
I didn't have a cash register. I didn't have a couch.
And a coffee table. He had it going on. Jesus.
Yeah,
man. Those were that was good times right there.
Man, why was that? Oh God, dude! I just think now you got me thinking about some of the like. Remember the grandma? Remember the grandma and the daughter
from the Oasis in Hinesville, Georgia.
Oh my God!
Remember one night it was like.
CC, remember that thump?
We played there for like a month. Didn't we play there for like a month?
Oh.
It seemed like a month. John.
Okay, well,
1 week at a time.
What's funny is one night those girls would always.
I spent a month there 1 week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those girls would always be dancing, and I remember one night we were sitting at the bar at the end of the night, and her daughter was like after me really bad, and I was, sometimes when I was in that kind of mood, I just played around with her. I said, "Do you mind if I come in your ass?" Or you know me. But I can't believe I just
something stupid.
But it's something crazy,
something classy.
But I remember, something classy. But it was easy because they asked for it almost, But anyway, the mother was sitting there and just looks at Pete and starts going. I swear to God, I remember this. She looks at Pete and she starts going. And Pete goes, "I'm out of here, man." And Pete starts walking back.
That wasn't her daughter. That was her granddaughter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
First time. And she had 3 toes on one of her feet.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I remember that. Oh my Lord. I wonder if they're still alive.
Probably not.
It looked like a gnarly talent,
Oh my gosh. And the way she danced, I remember how the old lady danced. I still remember. She kind of went almost like the Charlie Brown, remember on Christmas special with her.
I felt bad for the pole. Felt bad for the pole.
I don't know.
CC, do you remember how horrible the accommodations were at the Oasis? Remember that trailer park that we'd live in, and we'd live in that trailer?
Oh, that's where we found is that where we found the Playboys with the blood?
No, that was in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But the trailer is where we showed up there, and somebody had shit down the heating vents and pissed in pot pies and put them in the oven and left them there for 4 days before we got there. Had the Buster the Body Crab Memorial Speedway in the back bedroom.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It was rough, but the funny part is
threw up just now.
Yeah.
You gotta be laughing so hard. I don't know.
And the funny part is that I interviewed a guy who toured with John T-Tac, right?
Oh my God. T-Tac toured the tour.
Right, our next topic. But he said, they sent me someplace called the Oasis. And they expected me to stay in some trailer. Man, I ain't staying here. I said, man, I stayed there 4 times.
Dude, you're right. Oh my God, that place. What was the place?
Well, that may or may not have been the Oasis.
Okay, right. I think it was.
I don't really recall.
Right.
There was something that happened somewhere, but I remember this.
Yeah,
that nightclub.
Yes,
we were only 70 miles away, and we were definitely guilty of something. I don't remember what, but it was stressful.
Right.
They didn't pay us. They didn't pay us. Remember, they didn't pay us for a few nights. That's what it was.
No, what happened is that the last night we were there, which was a Saturday, right? The last time we played there, exactly what happened is that I used to have to MC the Naughty Nighty contest. Remember?
Yeah.
Right.
You were great at that too, man. You kept talking about camel toes and shimmering glazed donuts.
You got to keep it going up there.
Okay.
Yeah. And our crowd was the military people, and the people there with it, right? And the people there with their hose were the locals.
Yeah.
And at one point I said, "Hey guys, what do you think we get these pigs off the stage and move on with the show?" Right? That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
And the military guys jumped up, and the fucking rednecks jumped up, and they all got in a big fucking fight, and it was show over. And the owner was so goddamn mad at me, right, that they stiffed us money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I don't even remember. See, that shows you how oblivious I was. I don't even remember that at all.
We came in the next day to load out.
Yeah.
Because that's how we did it back then. You didn't load out after the show. You came back the next day, load out with the cleaning crew.
Yeah.
And something happened with the power. Don't know.
Yeah.
But what I do know is we got to Savannah, which is literally 70 miles away. And the place kind of burnt down.
Yeah, sure it did.
Remember Camille? Remember Camille? Remember that hot brunette I hooked up with in Savannah? Remember her?
No.
It's Pete does. Because I remember Pete going, that's a good one. Remember she really couldn't dance. She just kind of jumped up and down. Remember her?
That's really narrowing it down.
Because I remember that was the first time ever, Pete, that you actually said, that's a really good looking bitch you're with. It's the first time ever you said it to me.
Well, we had Heather Locklear come to our.
Yeah, we sure did.
Yes.
And you know what? I can't believe the first thing I asked her, what's it like to work with William Shatner? Jesus, John.
Idiot.
I know. I should have said, what's Tommy Lee like in bed?
Do you remember the name of the club? It was Ollie Mae's.
Ollie Mae.
And the woman that owned it, her name was Sue. And when I asked her, why is the club named Ollie Mae?
I know exactly why.
Right?
Yeah.
She said, some woman ran over my husband and killed him. And with the insurance money, I opened this bar. And her name was Ollie Mae. She's the only woman ever done anything for her.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. I heard something else when I was in Talon, because I played there with Talon. I heard something completely different.
And do you know, right across the street from there, that park, that's that park bench where they filmed Forrest Gump.
Was it across the street?
Goddamn right. Goddamn right.
Is it really in Savannah, right?
That's right. And you know what? That is the exact same park bench that we left Fat Steve on for 24 hours.
Yeah, what?
Oh my God.
Him and Forrest Gump shared that same park bench. Think about that next time you see Forrest Gump.
Oh my God.
Life is like a box of chocolates. Fat Steve slept here for 24 hours.
Right.
And his foot spores.
Remember, Steve tried to kill me. He chased me with a 2x4 while everybody else tried to push start the bus. And I kept running around the bus and he's chasing me with the 2x4 while everyone's pushing the bus. So it's like I'm making these long loop laps. And we left his ass there downtown Savannah without a penny in his pocket.
Was that? Yeah, I remember that. Remember at the Rock and Roll Cafe, I punched him. Remember that? I can't believe I
believe
did
it.
I did. I punched him, and he went down and actually bled a little bit. And then he came out like 20 minutes later going, "Fuck with me now." Ah! And I'm like, dude, you're crazy. But he was just acting weird around that time. What the hell was wrong with that guy? Is it also sleepy? Which skies are dreamy? Remember that? Figaro.
Yeah.
Figaro. Leopold.
Fucking idiot.
That's fucking great because I've never once heard a story about someone's arm being covered in horse cum before.
Dude,
I didn't even know it happened.
Instantaneous. Like, I barely touched that. It was like the first time I ever screwed anything. Like, you know how you were when you're 16, you barely touch it, and, you know.
16 happened 5 minutes ago. Guys, it's been great.
Yes, hasn't it?
Great catching up.
Hey, brother.
Let's do this again.
I love y'all, man.
Bro, let's do this again. Okay?
Yeah,
Definitely.
Let's do this again.
I love you guys, man.
Much love
You too,
to you,
baby.
CC. Talk soon, John. Much love to
Right
you.
on,
Talk
right on.
soon.
Stay safe.
We'll do this again.
Be good, guys.
Later, man.
Later.
Woo!